Happy Friday, everyone. It's time to talk about the PlayStation problem because people seem to be very upset at Sony right now, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think that their anger is completely wrong. What's up, gamers? Dreamcastguy here, and just a couple days ago, we got this very strange announcement that God of War Ragnarok and Gran Turismo 7 are both going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, which means that a lot of the games that we thought initially were going to be next-gen console exclusives are now cross-gen. Now, there's still going to be PlayStation games. We know eventually they're probably going to come to PC, but this seems to have disappointed a lot of gamers. People seem to be a bit shocked by the fact that a lot of these games are cross-gen, and some people, some people seem to be straight up angry. Like right here, God of War is cross-gen. Totally absurd and disappointing. Now, this is obviously Colin Moriarty, one of the most famous PlayStation fanboys of all time, but I also see this sentiment all over the place. Disappointing. God of War could have been the perfect project to show off what the PlayStation 5 can do. Or even this one right here is one I actually found. This is from Alan, long-term subscriber, very nice guy. This news really sucks. I was hoping for a true next-gen Gran Turismo, as it was never announced for the PlayStation 4. Now let me actually try and just break down this annoyance from the gamers. I think that part of it comes down to what Alan just said here. A lot of these games were never actually said to be coming to the PlayStation 4 ever. Some of these systems, like straight up the Gran Turismo trailer says in gigantic font, only coming to the PlayStation 5. This is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So a lot of people, let's just face facts, there are people out there right now who stood in line, who managed to get a PlayStation 5 to buy these games, and now it turns out that they're coming to their PlayStation 4, and that these games maybe aren't going to be as bright and flashy as we initially thought. Now, a major reason it seems like people are getting actually angry about this and not just, annoyed is because, I think it comes down to the fact that it's almost the hype bubble popping. Just consider this. Before the PlayStation 5 was actually revealed, before they showed us the box or the controller or any of the stuff like a single screenshot, all we had was tech reports. Mark Cerny, the architect of the PlayStation 5, spent all of 2020, last year, they spent so much time talking about the architecture of the PlayStation 5, talking about how the system was going to be bigger and stronger and faster, and with the solid-state hard drive, it would push the boundaries of gaming itself. And now the PlayStation 5 is out, and we're still just basically playing upgraded PlayStation 4 games that still actually run on a PlayStation 4 themselves. And it does seem like some gamers are starting to say, why the heck did I bother going to the trouble of saving up and buying a PlayStation 5 if I'm not going to be getting any true PlayStation 5 games for a bit? I'm even thinking about these quotes from last year where PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan was saying, "We want developers to make the most of PlayStation 5 hardware. We're not interested in making PlayStation 5 games run on the PlayStation 4. When patently, it just seems like this isn't true. Now let's just play devil's advocate. Let's actually talk about PlayStation as a business. They need to sell games. I think that the low sales of the PlayStation 5 are coming to the console shortage. The Sony factories right now are obviously just very hard at work trying to make every single system they can, just churning out the PlayStation 5s. But even at full capacity, because we are still having the chip shortage, they can't make as many as they would like. Everybody wants a PlayStation 5. Talk to 20 gamers on the street, and 15 are probably going to tell you they want a PlayStation 5 or they have a PlayStation 5. So Sony wants to keep up with the demand, but it's simply impossible right now. So I think that Sony is starting to be a bit in panic mode. They need to sell these games. A lot of these projects they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars on. God of War Ragnarok seems like it's going to be absolutely huge. And I want to just say right here, I think God of War Ragnarok, it's still going to play fantastic on the PS4. I think that Ragnarok, the first God of War game we got now in this new generation of Kratos, was fantastic. It was a 10 out of 10 experience. And for a major part, that was because the story combined with some great gameplay. I'm sure that can translate to the PlayStation 4, but I think that everybody wants to see the best version of these experiences. Everybody wants to see these boundary-pushing promises that we initially had in early 2020, before all of this kind of went to hell. So I decided to go and grab my copy of Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 4 because, honestly, The next Ratchet and Clank game is coming to PlayStation 5, and it's called A Rift Apart. And A Rift Apart, it seems to be the first game that's really exemplifying the power of the PlayStation 5. It is heavily reliant on the solid-state hard drive. It's able to let you transport from universe to universe, land to land, portal to portal, and the way it's able to do this is because it can just pull that data from the hard drive so instantaneously. Something that not only could not exist on the PlayStation 4, it's never been possible to exist in any Ratchet and Clank game previously. So I understand the excitement for that. Now, sometimes people say that I'm a bit of a Sony pony. Now, this doesn't bother me, but I want to actually just say a legitimate criticism of the PlayStation 5 right now. We haven't had a lot of PlayStation 5 exclusives. We may have had games that exist only on the PlayStation 5, games like Godfall, Demon's Souls, but here's my thing. These games could have run on the PlayStation 4. Those games absolutely, as beautiful as they were, I think it's great that they have like 4K outputs and stuff. Those games could definitely have run on a PlayStation 4. Like, they obviously would not have been as beautiful and shiny and stuff, but they could have, if they ported that code, it could have physically run and still been just as playable on the PlayStation 4. So I think that if we're going to be talking about the future of games, I think we need to talk about solid-state hard drives. I think we need to talk about the fact that Sony kept talking about how things are getting bigger and better, and yet I think that it's going to be a while before we actually see the experiences that were promised. I think part of the conundrum that comes down to this is that the average consumer doesn't care that much. I think a lot of people are still very happy with the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 4. I think people are just fine as long as the game looks half decent, it's not 20 frames a second, as long as the game doesn't hard crash, and as long as it's fun, people are going to be happy. I think it's the minority of people that are like downright fist-grittingly angry, but people are still just, they're understandably disappointed. I even actually did this poll over on my Twitter account here, and I said some gamers are mad about God of War Ragnarok being cross-gen. This is confirmed by the developers. Does it suck that God of War is still on PlayStation 4? Now, as you can see here, I got 4,600 votes on this poll. Most people seem to be mixed between I don't care and it will still be good. There is actually, it's weird to think about if you actually break this down by the numbers, there are thousands of people though who are just actually, upset by the fact that it's going to hurt the power of this next gen game. Here is just my brutally honest thoughts. I wish that we got a next PlayStation 5 game very, very soon, but I understand what's happening here. A lot of these games started off on PlayStation 4 dev kits. Like, if you actually read a lot of these interviews carefully and stuff, you'll see that the developers talk about that these started off on PlayStation 4 dev kits, and then they ported it to the PlayStation 5 dev kits. So the idea that this stuff is just supposed to instantaneously be an improvement, I understand why these games are still going to be cross-gen, while there is still going to be a downgraded and an upgraded version of the tech. But to me, I am still just a bit let down because I want to see the most of my PlayStation 5. I want to see the next Uncharted. I want to see the next insane freaking Final Fantasy. I want to see those experiences that just seem like they were worth the $500 I spent on this console to actually make it shine. But what do you think? Have you had a chance to sit down and think about this? Are you upset? Do you have a PlayStation 5? Or does this make you think, alright, I can get a PlayStation 5 next year? This console shortage is bad, but I feel like this is actually going to hurt the press of Sony themselves for quite a while. After all that we believe in generations talk, it seems like they're totally willing to abandon this concept and these talking points in order to get some extra sales on last-gen hardware. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. Oh man, we're actually coming up just a couple more days until we get Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation 5. I'm going to play the hell out of it, and I'm definitely going to be doing a gigantic review, so keep your eyes peeled. Okay, so I actually filmed the rest of this video already, and I'm currently editing it, and I just saw this news. Yuji Naka has seemingly left Square Enix after the incredibly freaking disappointing Balan Wonderworld. So it seems like he may have gotten fired, or he quit because Balan Wonderworld was such a freaking dumpster fire. So LOL. I'm sorry to laugh at somebody else's misfortune, and I hope he manages to find some employment somewhere. But wow, like, Balan Wonderworld is easily the worst game I've played this year, so it's pretty funny that he managed to make such a freaking dumpster fire of experience, and now, I mean, probably deserved. That game is really freaking bad, and yeah, hard to keep your job if your game doesn't sell. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.